So this is a double upload, the second video on my double upload. Now after this video, I will be uploading two other what ifs. What if the Predators were in an MCU part 2, and also what if Spider-Man was in Young Justice part 3, and I also will be uploading what if I think it was what if Ninja Turtles were in the CW part 1 rebooted, because I did a part 1 but I didn't do well, but I just wanted to do a part or like a reboot. So yeah, so this is what if Howard Duck was in the MCU. Now technically he is in the MCU, but only by cameos, and only lately we've seen him in episode 2 of pretty much what was it, the Disney Plus series What If. Basically, only saw him for a short amount of time, and he wasn't really a big character. And basically, he only got his solo movie, and it didn't really do well. And also, I would have to say it's like a 5 out of. It's like a 4 out of 10, maybe a 5 out of 10. If you really just love Howard the Duck, but it's not really a very good movie. But basically, it's a pretty good movie for its time. Just the plot of it, I just don't like it. But basically, Howard the Duck is, well, very very, you gotta say, iconic character to Marvel. But basically, not a lot of people that really are obsessed with you know how the Duck is, or anybody that's obsessed or likes Marvel that don't know about Howard the Duck. They aren't real Marvel fans, but basically, Howard the Duck is basically just a humanoid duck person from a different world where ducks evolved into humanoid creatures instead of monkeys. So yeah, so basically in this world, ducks evolved instead of pretty much, well, monkeys. So basically, what I'm gonna be doing is that basically how the duck is a humanoid duck, but I guess since he's a humanoid duck, he does have only a couple abilities, or he doesn't really have Superman abilities, but he does have the ability of a duck. He can't really fly. He can't fly because he has arms, but I do guess that he can breathe in the water, and he does have the powers of a duck, but not like being able to fly or anything like that. But I do presume that he has the powers of a duck, but it doesn't. But they don't say that in the Wikipedia page. So I'm just gonna give him that ability. And also, Howard the Duck has pretty much is a master of quack fu, and I guess it's his his universe's version of kung fu, but just better for ducks or humanoid ducks, since humanoid ducks are shorter than humans. And basically, also he has minimal magic manipulation, and also with his iron duck suit, superhuman strength, vulnerability, and pretty much all the abilities of an Iron Man suit, except for Jarvis and all that other stuff. And also, he does have pretty much, you know, he does have pretty much a good mastery of guns and stuff like that. So yeah, so basically, not to say Howard the Duck is a pretty good character. Basically, he did have a couple other, you know, things that he went up against. He also was he had the powers of Wade Wilson for a short amount of time. Now, basically, Howard the Duck has been in the MCU, but only by cameos. So basically, what I'm gonna be doing is, what if Howard the Duck was, well, in the MCU technically, well, was a main part or a main character in the Avengers. Now, I actually will be doing this in a part 2, or probably just doing this in a part 1 shot. So basically, yeah. So basically, this would have Howard the Duck was in the MCU. Now I will be making a part 1, all the way up to all the way up to Endgame, or to Civil War, because I don't think I have enough time, but yeah, we don't know. So basically, well, I don't know. So basically, let's get into it, guys. So basically, Howard the Duck, his origin is going to be the same, and eventually we are going to get a solo movie, or I guess a reboot of Howard the Duck, because basically Howard the Duck is a very good character, and not really a very popular character, but a really good character. And I think they should, they already included him in both of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies in a cameo or in a background shot. So I hope they introduce him, or at least give him a good role in pretty much any of the Marvel MCU movies they're coming up with the multiverse. And plus, the multiverse is technically somewhat connected to, Howard the Duck. So I really, really hope they introduce Howard the Duck and give him more of a bigger role into the MCU and basically give him at least a solo movie or at least a two-digit movie with another character alongside him. But yeah, so basically I hope they introduce Howard the Duck in the MCU. Now let's get switched to pretty much the main what if. Now basically we start our story off with Howard the Duck. Now Howard the Duck's origin story is just like in the original. He is a humanoid duck from the universe. Now he is teleported to basically Earth by some sort of cosmic event, and basically he is teleported there about the same, pretty much the same time around pretty much Age of Ultron. Now he's teleported near Age of Ultron about right when Ultron was awakened and killed or murked or pretty much just folded Jarvis. Now basically he would land on top of Avengers Tower, basically looking around being confused. Now basically wrong script. Sorry guys. So this is a wrong script. Now basically what's gonna be happening is that pretty much Howard the Duck will be teleported about the same time, about a couple months after the first Avengers movie. Now he'll be teleported to the first Avengers movie, he'll be teleported to an alleyway. Now from that point on, his origin story will be somewhat the same as pretty much the original, pretty much Howard the Duck movie. Just look that up and basically just go like, I don't know, a video or a movie recap video about it. Basically, it'd be from that point on, he would, pretty much came across a woman. He wouldn't fall in love with her. She would just help him in his world, and basically, he would become, get a job and all other stuff. But eventually, he would actually become a detective, actually, and he would do, detective work. He would become a police officer and other stuff like that. And basically, he would become pretty, famous person. And eventually, he would catch the eye of the Avengers after him having his own solo movie. So basically, doing all of this, he would catch the eye of the Shield actually. And before Age of Ultron, pretty much Nick Fury or Black Widow would have gone after Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck would have been in his office, minding his own business, just going on his phone and stuff like that. Basically, him being interrupted by Black Widow walking into his room. Pretty much her saying, "Are you Howard Duck?" And basically him saying, "Yeah, I am." Basically him turning around in his chair showing his duck physique. Now he would be the same amount of build that he is in the comics, but like two two feet 2 feet, or I guess the same height. You look it up. Basically him being a master of quack fu, being about the same abilities as a duck, except for flight, and basically being able and also having access to magic manipulation. Basically, him being able to do small magic tricks that are actually real magic, like being able to disappear or teleport a small item like a piece of money or a penny or something like that. Something small you could fit in your hand, something like that. So basically, he would have, looked at her saying, "So you're Black Widow." Shield came to me once. Basically, him saying, "Well, you're gonna have to catch me first." Him throwing pretty much a smoke bomb he teleported away a few days ago, playing for this, just moment, and him jumping out the window. Him trying to fly, but him, knowing that you can't really fly. Him falling down into a trash can, him getting out of the trash can and running off. He would have been running off, and basically in this world, people would just think that Howard the Duck was an Avenger or something, so they wouldn't really think anything different of his, pretty much appearance, and also they would think that he's cute since he's a humanoid duck. Basically, he would have been running faster and faster away from Black Widow catching up with him, but him pretty much going into an alleyway and actually being able to hide away from Black Widow. Black Widow would have been calling Nick Fury saying, "Where is he?" I can't find him. I lost him. Basically, her pretty much tricking with Howard the Ducks, knowing that he's in here, seeing that was no other way for him to escape. Now she would have been looking around, pretty much saying that she was about to leave, but when she opened up the trash can in the alleyway, now pretty much Howard would have been found by Black Widow, and Black Widow would have grabbed him and would have put him pretty much in a van, and they would have drove off and going up into the helicarrier by a helicopter. They drove to a rendezvous point, and basically he would have been pretty much lowered, pretty much whatever, just take it to the helicarrier, and basically he would have been had a conversation with Nick Fury. Nick Fury would have given him a deal to join the Avengers and to use your unique knowledge of different worlds and also your small little hands to help us with the situation. And basically, they would have just asked, Howard, because they would have been told by Tony, because Tony was interested by Howard, and also Tony was inspired by Howard because Howard would have his own solo movie, and his own solo movie would be about basically him going, into different realities with a little help from some sort of technology that he made. Basically, him going through timeline, through different realities, into the future, into the past. Him basically having a whole entire, not really a multiverse type of thing. Him having more of a pretty much shenanigan. Him going up against pretty much a evil version of himself, and that's just gonna be made up. It's basically just gonna be a version of himself just with purple feathers and glowing, just blank red eyes. Basically, that evil version of himself having actually the ability to fly and also being able to basically, being able to basically manipulate magic farther or more greater than, basically Howard can. But basically, Howard took him down, and basically after the whole entire event, Shield found out about it and saw Howard as a ally. So they wanted to get Howard on their team or on the Avengers. Now Howard, accepted since Howard did live in a hotel, just a penthouse, but now he could live in the Avengers mansion. So he accepted him. Join. Now guys, before we go any further, I took a huge time jump between this video, in between this, so basically this will continue. And basically, we continue on with Howard joining the Avengers after being pretty much given the choice, or not really given the choice, mainly slightly forced into it. But him still, knowing the Avengers, him still wanted to be on the team. Now, since the first Avengers movie already happened, doing pretty much Age of Ultron, that's when Howard would start to be on the team. Now, basically, Howard would have gone to the Avengers Tower in this same exact suit right here. Basically, him walking into the building. Now, basically, Howard would have walked into the Avengers Tower looking exactly like this, just in, real life and CGI. Basically, him walking into the building. Now, he would have, talked to them, and basically, he would have been joining the Avengers. Now, he would have started to make friends with some of the Avengers. Pretty much Thor making fun of pretty much Howard's size, and pretty much Howard telling him that you look like looks like a muscular mop with your mop head self. Basically looking at his ridiculous hairstyle, or just his long flowing hair. Basically, he starts cracking on the other Avengers. Some of the Avengers get kind of angry, but they shrug it off. Pretty much them, trying to, become more, pretty much balanced with, balanced with Howard. Now, basically, Black Widow, pretty much offers to train Howard since she read a little bit of pretty much Howard's file, but doesn't know his full extent, because Howard was never really put under Shield guidance or Shield surveillance for a pretty long time to see his full potential. Basically, they go into the training room, and basically Howard is told to try to take off the bandana off of Black Widow's head. Black Widow having a red bandana saying to get it from me. Basically, them getting into a fight. And basically, Howard runs towards Black Widow, jumping up into the air and trying to grab it off her head. She grabs Howard by the tail and slunks him down to the ground, saying again. They start over again and they go for a couple minutes. Howard trying to do the same thing over and over again, slammed down into the ground, and pretty much him trying to trip Black Widow, but that not working and him getting stomped on by her. Basically, he goes back and forth, fighting Black Widow again and again and again. Eventually, him about to give up, but he sees an opening, and Black Widow looks at him after Black Widow gets back up after being kind of out of breath since they did it for a long time, or they're training for a long time. Basically, Howard running over to Black Widow using Duck Fu or Quan Dai Duck, or I don't even know, Duck Fu, and basically pretty much uses some sort of pressure point thing on Black Widow's arm, making her arm go limp, and basically him using his pretty much minor magic manipulation to boost himself through the air and grab the bandana off of Black Widow's head, and him winning. And basically, the Avengers are kind of impressed on what Howard did, but basically they pretty much they still see Howard as kind of a liability, but Tony still sees pretty much still sees potential in Howard. Now basically Howard and pretty much in them go to whole entire thing, and basically at this point Age of Ultron would have happened. Now basically Tony would have pretty much Howard would actually be with the Avengers doing the night, pretty much the whole entire casino night or the house party at Avengers Tower. So basically, I did a little time skip because I do a lot of time skips. For some reason, I did a lot of time skips this video, but whatever. So basically, Howard would be with the Avengers at this time. Now, basically, Howard would be just relaxing, and Howard would try to pick up Thor's hammer. Him pretty much trying to lift it, trying to pull it as hard as he can, and him not getting anything because I don't think Howard is worthy. Now, basically, Howard, gives up, and when Cap goes up, he pretty much moves the hammer just a little bit. Thor gets kind of scared by this, but doesn't really show it. Basically, Thor says the easy answer to the hammer is you're not worthy. Basically, them having pretty good night. And basically, before they ended off the night, Ultron showed up. Ultron in his first bootleg body, off of the pretty much Tony's bodyguard suits or whatever. And basically, they would start fighting the other robots. Howard running around and grabbing pretty much a couple of space guns. Now basically, Howard would have some tech that Tony gave him to defend himself, and Howard had some sort of blasters. Basically, Howard would be taking out his blaster and started to shoot down multiple of the robots. They would have taken out Ultron, but basically, that's why I'm going to leave it off here, guys. So basically, you probably wouldn't want to leave it off here. And basically, guys, just because I'm, tired, and also, part 2 will be more better since I'll have enough time. But yeah, so see you guys later. Bye, and as always, guys, have a blessed